how has having a little one changed your life?
I'd say for me, it's more of a thing where since I was younger, I always said that before I have a child, I need to make sure I work on my anxiety and overcome it, because I know that my emotions will go onto him, either through the way I react to him or just through co-regulation. So if I'm dysregulated, he's going to be dysregulated as well. And because I don't want to do that, and the importance of breaking cycles to me, I was like, okay, so now I actually need to find a way. It has to work or it has to work, but I need to do this before he comes.
Yeah.
So obviously, because how old was I? 19? Yes. And I was vulnerable. So I got a family nurse that helped me. But then they also told me about talking therapies. I tried that. That did not work for me, because basically the woman said I can't talk about anything traumatic. But I'm like, this is my life, so it's not making sense. Because it's not like me not talking about it will stop me from living it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that. So, okay.
Yeah. So I had to stop it. So then I started to do a bit more research into like shadow work, and then also looking a bit into some things. I don't know how I fell into it, but seeing stuff to do with neuroplasticity, that type of thing.
All right, so you're saying a lot of things. You need to break it down, because some of our audience may not know.
Yeah.
So you said shadow work. What is that?
So like shadow work, about seeing the why behind the why, as to why you do certain things, or why you are the way you are. And for me, one thing that shadow work helped me with was getting better at asking the right questions, and also getting to the root of it, because there were about 2 times where I thought, I've actually healed, my anxiety is gone. And then I got triggered, and I was like, no, you were away from your triggers, so you were no longer feeling the anxiety. So that's when I'll say the final time, obviously after I gave birth, when I was still getting triggered, but I was no longer physically reacting to it, or it was no longer stressing me out. And I said, yes, that's when the work has actually been done. So
how does someone get to understand, how does someone get into shadow work?
I'll say, for me, I did a lot of research. It was like trial and error. So if anything, if you're looking for a resource, you can shoot me a DM and I can send something through to you, having certain questions, because I actually have a journal. So what I did was, me and my business partner, we've got a program where it's kind of part of the coaching, where we take people through a journey, help them uncover the root causes of the traumas and anxieties. Then we help them understand what their coping and defensive mechanisms are. After that, we help them...
Let's slow down again. Coping and defensive mechanisms.
Yeah.
So I know, but for the benefit of the audience, what is that?
So your coping or defensive mechanism is how you react to when you are triggered. So what I do is I normally help people map back. So when you can so the trigger is what causes the coping and defensive mechanism, which causes the action. So when you see that you have this maybe negative trait, what is being spoken about when that negative trait comes out? Where are you? What are you around? What can you smell? What can you see? What are you thinking about? Because any one of those things can be a trigger. And when you work that back, you start to understand what is going on. Because when you start to understand, okay, is it because of where I am, what we're talking about, or what I'm seeing? Then you go back to, when was the first time I reacted like this in this similar setting? So you're trying to find the pattern.
Yes.
Within what's going on, and then you go back to when was the first time that this happened, what was going on, how was I feeling, and how did that lead me to being dysregulated. And that's how you map back to understand what your triggers are, what your coping or defensive mechanisms are, and then how they lead you to react. And normally coping and defensive mechanisms are things that we feel like are keeping us safe, but they're not. So they just help us avoid things better. It's like hypervigilance, or when certain people are like, you just
We're going to pause again. Hypervigilance, go again. No, you need to educate them. Please.
Hypervigilance is when you're always on edge and when you're expecting people to do things without communicating it. Most of the time, that's a characteristic of hypervigilance. So you just end up doing everything by yourself because you can't really trust anyone and you don't want to put your trust into someone and be hurt by them. So it's that thing of, I'm strong, I don't need anybody, I don't need a village, I can do everything myself. So it's kind of like hyper independence. And when it comes to that, a lot of us, I'll say Black women especially, we get into that hypervigilant state of, I can do everything by myself and
I don't need anyone.
No matter how much you do something by yourself, there's always somebody there helping you. You always need that village. Even single moms that have been able to do it well, they've had a village, even though maybe the dad might not be there. So it's about seeing the village that you have there and knowing how to actually nurture it, because we take it for granted that we have people around us and we have these relationships and we just at times expect them to just be there without pouring back in. And I saw someone say something so powerful, that everyone wants a village but no one wants to become a villager. And if you don't want to be burdened by the relationships that you have around you, that means that it's for you, it's not worth it enough. Because no matter what, the relationships that you have are going to burden you, but it's for you to decide whether the burden is worth it, because you're going to burden someone else. And it's a reciprocal relationship where it's not just about being transactional. It's a thing where we're there for each other when we need each other. It's not always a tit for tat thing, but it's about that energy that is around there. And when we get into that space of hypervigilance and just expecting people to know better and do better, I'm not talking about basic things, but I'm talking about when you have a need that is not being met, but you're expecting the person to know because it's supposed to be common sense. But what's common sense to you is not common sense to me. What's a trigger to you is not a trigger to me. So if you don't express it and you just start like stonewalling me, or you just start acting different, and it's like, oh, you see my mood change, you should know better. No, you are bad at communicating, because you should communicate to the person to say that this is something that upsets me. Can you please do X, Y, and Z? Can we change the behavior? But deeper than that, what you can actually do is say that, for me, something that is a trigger is when this happens. And when you do that, at times I feel upset. So now you're not blaming the person for you being upset, you're owning it.
Accountability.
And now you're saying that, you know what, how can I help you improve that? How can I maybe help you create an accountability system, this, that, and the other? So you're communicating your need, but then also you're disarming the person from being triggered, from feeling like you are attacking them or you're just criticizing them for criticizing sake. But it's also saying why you're giving this feedback or criticism. I want our relationship to improve, and I didn't want to keep it in because I didn't want to build resentment without saying anything. And it's like, a lot of people have expectations, silent expectations that are not being met, and they're having resentment for things that they didn't even set.
Yes. Yes. To all of that. Honestly, there's a lot there to unpack. So the accountability, setting boundaries, not holding people accountable for things that they don't know about. Like, it's how do you expect people to deliver or meet your expectation if they don't know what it is?
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot there.
And it's